Being that it's 4:30, I'd like to open the meeting of the Georgetown Housing Authority with a roll call, please.
Dave Shower.
Eddie Davidson,
Frank.
Elizabeth.
Frank Hopper.
Juliet Reck.
Like the minutes of the previous meeting, please.
The Georgetown Housing Authority met in regular session on Wednesday, April 10, 2013. The meeting was called to order at 4:30 by Frank Hopper. Roll call: Frank Hopper, Elizabeth Davidson, Juliet Reck, Dave Shower, and Bertha Foster. The minutes of the February 13th meeting were accepted. The 667 waitlist has 41 applicants, 25 non-elderly, 2 emergencies, 1 transfer, and 16 elderly. 705 waitlist has 273 applications, 6 are emergencies. We had 1 move-in for March. We currently have 2 vacancies. 39 work orders were completed for 667 for March, 3 were urgent. There are currently 12 open. 13 work orders were completed for 705 for March. 1 was urgent. There are currently 9 open. I just want to change that on my minutes. Okay. A reimbursement report was submitted to MEMA for the 2013 blizzard in the amount of $2,706.87. I requested funds from the Georgetown Bank to purchase a sectional for the community room. They will give us $1,000 towards the sectional, which is $3,000 if we can get matching funds. There was no quorum for the March 13th board meeting. Present were Hopper and Shower. Excused absence, Reck and Davidson. Absent, Foster. Sandra's last day was March 29th. On March 26th, we were notified that we will receive a grant to replace 112 refrigerators. In February, we received $3,100 for a health and safety initiative grant from DHCD to replace the handrails outside the community building. We repaired them instead, costing $850. The remainder will go towards purchasing new window balances. The woodshop repair project began 4/2/13. The contract was signed on 4/10 with MacRae to replace all washers and dryers, with 65% of the income coming to the Housing Authority and a $1,000 bonus to paint the laundry rooms. Hopper made a motion to not proceed with mandatory direct debit for rent, second by Shower, unanimous. Hopper made a motion to accept the amended CIP in the amount of $414,345.21, which is an increase of $133,961 for the previous amount of $280,384.21. Second by Reck, unanimous. Hopper made a motion to renew the executive director's contract for 5 years. Second by Reck. Foster, pass. Shower, yes. Davidson, yes. Reck, yes. Hopper, yes. The board signed the lead compliance report for 2010. Davidson made a motion to adjourn at 5:05.
Are there any corrections? Are there any corrections? If there are no corrections, I'll accept the minutes as read. Can we have the director's report, please?
Waitlist summary. 667 has 38 on the list, 21 are non-elderly, 2 are emergencies. We have 1 transfer and 17 elderly on the list. 705 has 283 with 6 emergencies. The vacancy report. We had 1 move-in for April. We currently have 1 vacancy. Work orders for April. 89 work orders were completed for 667, 8 were urgent. There are currently 16 open. 5 work orders were completed for 705, 0 were urgent. There are currently 8 open. On April 25th, the new furniture was delivered for the community building. It was purchased with the grant from the Georgetown Bank. On May 1st, Dave Shower was elected to serve on our board for 5 years.
Congratulations.
Yay!
Thank you, Diane. Unfinished business. We have a curbing and catch basin project update.
Yes, we do. Oh, okay, I remember what I need to tell you about that. We didn't have that in our sites on our CIP for 2014. However, DHCD has sent the architect to do the work because we had a catch basin, or maybe even a manhole cover, that had about a foot all the way around it that was exposed.
It was open.
So instead of taking money out to do that one thing, we just did, well, I'm proposing to do it all, so that we can just get the whole thing taken care of, and it'll fix all the curbing, because there is a considerable amount of curbing that's been ripped up by the plows.
Oh.
So if I can get your vote, I'll proceed with that. A major amount of the work has already been completed because it was coming up in the next few years. So we had already done some of the paperwork.
So you need
A vote
a vote on that?
to proceed with the curbing and catch basin project.
Is there anybody that will,
I'll second that.
Absolutely.
you make a motion?
Yeah, I make the motion.
Betty
I'll
seconds
second
it.
Okay?
It's good that we're getting this started.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's huge, it's a really big deal.
yep, no, yeah, it's good. It's-
Okay.
Yep.
And all in favor, right?
Yeah, aye.
Aye.
Yeah,
Does that have anything to do with some of the sidewalks being fixed too? No?
They actually took a look at some of the sidewalks, and you mean where the roots have come
Yeah.
out? No. It may, I did ask them to look into the fact there's a couple, like these sidewalks haven't been done since '73.
Yeah, they're really dangerous.
Well, the
Places.
part that concerned me was that there aren't any cuts for the wheelchairs. So they are gonna see if they can put that in, so I don't know about that yet, but that was requested. Okay, next is the change order for the workshop repair.
Yes.
The workshop repair, when DHCD came out to look at it, they estimated it was gonna be about $19,000 to do. When it went out to bid, it came in under $8,000. One thing that I had forgotten to put in the specs was to paint the concrete wall, patch and paint the concrete wall by the greenhouse. So this change order reflects that, $500 to do that work. It wasn't in the specs. So that's why there's a change order.
I thought you people talked about it when you signed.
We did, but we had to do a change order, now it's coming up now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I just need you to,
I'll make the motion that we accept the change order.
I'll second it.
second by Davidson. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
New business, National Senior Network for Administrative Assistant vote to accept a grant in the amount of $56,000 to replace 112 older model refrigerators.
Okay. Senior Network. National Senior Network is a program that trains people over the age of 55. They pay them, and we get the benefit. We will have someone additional working in our office at no cost to us. And that's for a one-year contract, and hopefully they'll extend it for 2.
It starts out at 1 and it could go to 2.
Mm-hmm.
Who hires the person? Do you hire?
They send me people they think are qualified, and I will interview them. But they actually hire them.
And they pay 'em.
They pay them. I know, it's a great program for us.
So you get to pick the one that you,
Yeah.
okay,
And are they Georgetown people?
I don't know, they haven't sent me anybody yet.
okay.
And
Oh,
you
my-
have to do a quarry test in them?
Oh, everybody that works here has to be
Yeah.
quarried.
So they're under the same as if you hired somebody?
Right.
Yeah.
So I think a vote would be good.
Okay, well, does anybody want to make the motion?
I will, I make the motion, we
Hire someone from
hire somebody.
National Senior Network.
Yes.
I second it.
Admin assistant.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
That
Okay.
sounds like a no-brainer right
I
there.
know. Okay, so now all I need is your vote to accept the grant for $56,000 to replace 112 older model refrigerators.
I'll make that motion, absolutely.
I second it.
Vote to accept fridges, second by Shower.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We should see a difference in our electric bill too, because they're all coming
Absolutely.
at the same time.
Absolutely.
Big difference.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and they're gonna be delivered, put in the units, and the old ones taken away,
Nice.
all with this grant.
Good.
I have a question, Diane.
Mhm.
It was back from new business, how we just repaired the railing for
Yes.
$850, so we've got a little over $2,000 left
Mhm.
from that Health and Safety Initiative grant. Window balances, like which unit, is it all the units or only some?
Yeah.
And that definitely falls under the grant.
Only
You
3
can use
things
it
fell
for-
under the grant, the railings, the window balances, and the door closures. We already bought the door closures that we had put into the grant. So I did call them and tell them that, you know, we saved $2,000, can we use the money for the window balances? And they said we could.
Okay.
Excellent.
So we'll buy them now. They won't all be installed now because that's our guys that have to do that. So as we need them, we'll just have them ready. We won't
Okay.
purchase them.
Correspondence?
I don't have anything.
I have another question. I know the sidewalks issue keeps coming up every meeting, and I know you are constantly finding all these grants, which is wonderful, and you do a great job. Have you ever come across anything that's grants for sidewalks, or, I mean, like, this is a safety grant, and I would assume sidewalks would fall under some type of health and safety initiative grants. Like, have you ever come across anything that's specific to sidewalks or anything?
No. In our CIP, our capital plan, we do have sidewalks, but that's not gonna be for a while. But
I remember you
I
were
can
saying some
contact her.
units needed some stuff in order of importance first before sidewalks.
And that's basically what it is. It's a pecking order that we have to go down, and when we get to that point,
Yeah.
then
But
we
if-
can
if-
address
If
it.
something's an emergency, and
it's different if it's an emergency.
I mean, I'm not the best of my feet, and these sidewalks are hard to walk on.
I know.
I mean, they really are in places. I mean, it
Yeah,
I
but-
can call the person who I got this grant from, the health and safety.
you know, what
And
if somebody
ask her.
falls down and hurts themselves on it, and then something would be done.
I know. Hopefully it doesn't get
No.
to that point, but I
Yeah.
will call her and ask her about sidewalks.
Okay. And I mean, if there's any way we can help you by getting a petition signed or anything like that as
Okay.
far as, and I know you said, and you know the property better than anyone, I know you said that there's other things on the list that are gonna take some priority, and I think we had mentioned doing a site walk when the weather got warmer.
Yes, we did, we
Yeah,
have,
we
that was,
usually do.
yes.
Okay.
And I wouldn't, I would think that next month would be a perfect time to do that. We'll show up, maybe
the meeting.
before the meeting, a little bit earlier, whatever you think it would take, 45 minutes
Sure.
or an hour. I know that, I can work that into my
Yeah.
schedule.
Okay.
'Cause you said-
And we can
yeah.
schedule that for next month.
I'll
We
set it
can-
up.
Cause that would be
yeah.
good, and then, you know, we can all make some majority
Yeah,
decisions.
yeah,
maybe.
collective
Yeah.
decisions,
Especially because you
yeah.
said, you know, some things are holding priority over sidewalks, maybe you could just kind of briefly go over what's the most important to get fixed first, and then from there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we,
that's
so we're all on the
Very
same
good, Julie,
page.
yeah, no, I think that we
Cause I know
get
the
a-
tenants too keep bringing up sidewalks, so,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay.
alright, good. So we'll put that on for next month.
Yep. I'll
Yes,
send out a memo.
definitely, yeah,
I'll
Yeah.
talk for you first. We'll get a time scheduled and then
Yep.
I'll send a memo out.
okay. Very good. Anybody else have anything else?
No.
Audience comments?
Just
Oh,
one,
I'm sorry.
yeah. In June, we're having that party again down the beach, that free party, if you could put it in.
I did.
Oh, to get. The Park and Rec's having a free party down the beach, June 9th, is it? You know, free food and everything, everybody up, you're invited, come on down, it's a good time.
I put a save the date in the scuttlebutt, well, the tenants association
Yeah.
did. And then when you have a flyer made, we'll deliver that.
to you tomorrow.
Okay, great, then, yeah,
I mean, it was a fun time.
yeah, it was.
Very good. Anything for the audience? Any comments? Yes.
This was not submitted to Diane because I'm just gonna ask something that you can think about for a month rather than just having 24 hours. And I was wondering if there's any way, I think I talked to Diane a long time ago about no smoking, and she said that she couldn't do it. Is there any way like you could make us no smoking in the apartments and just smoking outside? There's a lot of us here that have lung port, and that would save you some money because it takes the guys 3 times as long to do a smoking apartment as they do without. And you never lose the smell of the smoke either.
That's true.
But that could save you some money. That was one thing I wanted to ask.
I can actually address that without waiting, because I've been working on that for 2 years now. I've been working on no smoking reform for housing authorities. We've already had all the appropriate meetings, and we're ready to go. We're just waiting for DHCD to back us up. And recently, the Boston Housing Authority went no smoking, so it's just a matter of time now. But we're all ready to go.
Does the
Thank you.
Boston area have, or do they have an area where they can go if?
Normally, it's about 15 feet from a building,
Yeah.
but that would be a policy that we would write up.
Okay.
But to put in if you're asking to put in a smoking room in a certain
That's
area,
hard to
that would be
do.
really
That's hard
hard
to
and costly,
Yeah.
because it would have to be set up
Yeah.
under the
Right.
guidelines for fresh air and exhaust and all of that. That would be a difficult thing to do.
Plus, we'd have to plow to it, make sure it's shoveled
Yeah.
and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas what I wanna do is when we do go no smoking, I wanna make sure that we have a program available to tenants who wanna quit smoking. I don't wanna just tell them, hey, you can't smoke in your own home anymore. I wanna give them the option to quit if they want to, and maybe have free patches available or free meetings to attend here, so they don't have to drive to them. So that's all in the works.
This is,
That's gonna be quite an undertaking to do as far as I'm concerned,
if
because
you have somebody,
when somebody's been living in their apartment for 10, 15
Yeah.
years, and now to tell them that they're gonna go out and how you can penalize them so much, I mean, in such a way to say, okay, don't do it again, this is your first offense, what are you gonna do? Tell them they're gonna lose their apartment, I mean,
Right.
All that
And
will
it-
be written in the policy, and that's why we need DHCD to back it up, because
but who's gonna,
Can it be grandfathered?
who's gonna be the police
Yeah.
officer? So to
That'd be
speak?
me.
Who'll be the
That'd
smoking
be me.
police officer, but,
Well,
people would have
the
to
town-
tell on their neighbors.
Well, the town-
which is gonna cause a lot of
a
problems.
lot of trouble. I mean, too bad you couldn't work it in slowly, the new people to come in.
In my opinion, the way I'd like to do it is to have buildings where people already smoke, designated smokers buildings,
Yeah.
and
Correct.
people where they don't smoke, have them non-smokers. Right now, that's considered, oh boy, what's the word, discriminatory.
Yeah,
So we can't do that now, but that's the way I would like to do it when it all does take effect. Whether or not we're allowed to do that, I don't know. They suggest that you don't do that, but I think that's the best way to do it, because I can't see these
I
people.
mean, they do it in hotels where they have smoking
Yeah,
rooms,
right.
and
Yeah.
non-smoking rooms, and,
Yeah.
you
Just
know,
that the people who smoke, I don't smoke, so. But they seem like the government just keeps hitting them over the head. You know, pay more, do this, can't do, and they have just as much rights as we do.
not anymore.
Not anymore.
But you see,
I
I say,
I know what you're saying.
you know what I'm saying.
But we have a unit right now that a smoker was living in, and it's gonna be triple the price. To
Absolutely.
clean it, they have to wash the walls down first, and they didn't even just take one wash, it took more than one. Then they have to stain kills, then they have to, some of the ceiling actually has to be scraped. Then they have to, paint 2 coats of paint. And that's only the walls, that has nothing to do with the floors, the fixtures, all the fixtures have to be done. It's really a tremendous amount of work. So, the way I would like to do it is the people who are already smoking the units are already affected.
Correct.
So, what's the difference? Anybody moving in will be subject to the new regulations.
Yes.
They'd have to go out and smoke in their car, or go smoke outside,
Side, right.
or whatever. But I wouldn't wanna do that to people who already live here.
No.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a very,
That's a good way to do it.
That's a
Yeah,
very good way to do it. I
I
personally
wouldn't vote
think
to have
that,
it
you know,
done just to
and,
stop them. I mean, they're
slowly
paying,
but
it is
surely
their
it will-
apartments.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
hopefully it'll go that way. I'm
Yeah.
hoping it goes that way.
Okay.
What about someone who lives in the same building right next door to a smoker and they feel it's affecting their health? Would we have an initiative to move them to a different unit as one comes available, so they're not next to a smoker?
That's what we'd have to discuss, and that's where you're gonna run into a lot of money. Because now you have to get an apartment ready for that person, and now you have to get their apartment ready, too. So it's gonna cost double.
Very true.
So that's the kind of thing that we'll have to form in the policy, so that when the question does come up, I have an answer for them.
Maybe you could contact somebody you probably
I'm going
already have.
to, yeah. I
And
have,
find out how they handle it.
and I will
I saw
continue
you.
as it
This-
goes.
Isn't this a state-run place?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Then in state buildings, you cannot smoke, so how can you smoke here?
They haven't gotten to us yet.
Pardon?
They haven't actually gotten to housing authorities in the units. We can't smoke in the common areas, but in their units, they haven't broached that yet, but that's what they're doing now, where Boston has just done it. I imagine they'll wanna see how that goes for a while, and then they'll make a decision. Once they back us up, we're ready.
The state tried to do it to us down the beach in the ballparks, that there couldn't be any smoking. And everybody on the Park and Rec said, who's gonna enforce it? And even some of the cops said, I ain't going down to some guy just watching a ball game with his son, he's having a cigarette. And it gets to be a touchy,
Yeah.
No, it's a very, it is a very touchy
Yeah.
subject.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's posted on our signs at the parks, no smoking, it's just,
But-
it's not really enforced.
Yeah, to be enforced is another story.
I hope they don't smoke in our building.
I hope so too.
I've
Wow.
been 23 years free,
Good for
Good
you,
for you.
3 packs a day.
good for you.
In the People's Republic of Cambridge, you can't even smoke in your backyard.
Oh, really?
Really? You can't go in your backyard and smoke a cigarette because the smoke will blow into your neighbor's yard. That's a true story.
Wow. That's,
Anything else, any other input? Very good.
meeting adjourned.
Adjourn.
Motion we adjourn.
Perfect.
Beautiful thing. Thank you.
Thank you very much.